Welcome, hunters. The long anticipated Monster Hunter Wilds has finally arrived, bringing a new level of depth, immersion, and sheer monster slaying chaos to the series. But is it everything that we hoped for? Hello, I'm Croc Thrasher, and welcome back to my YouTube channel. In today's video, I'm giving you my review of Monster Hunter Wilds. As you can see, I'm HR 300, I have 200 hours, and I'm a simple guy going to give you my simple review. Tell me in the comment section, what do you think about the game so far? Do you like it? Tell me the things that you dislike, and anything. It could be anything. Consider subscribing and liking on the video, or disliking. Anything helps. Monster Hunter has never been a story-driven game. Like, yes, Monster Hunter has always had story, but for the most part, it wasn't like serious lore or, you know, things of like nature, like a book of some sort, like Harry Potter or something. This game offers pretty good looking cutscenes for the most part. The story wasn't really, it was a little bit deeper than average. I'd say it's about equal or a little bit. Like, if World was like a 5, this was probably like a 5.5 or a 6. The World narratively wasn't too bad. I think that I started to feel more of a connection with Nata when he saw the White Wraith and he got really upset, and I kind of resonated with that because I understand, you know, being extremely angry and being extremely upset and not being able to, you know, take control in your own hands because, you know, you're weak and powerless. And that's where our character comes in. Our character is powerful, our character is strong and knows what to do, supposedly, and we are here helping Nata figure out his decisions, or helping him make decisions on what he wants to do or what we should do. I wish we had more of a impact on on the choices, so maybe we can make Arkveld live instead of hunting him, or vice versa. but it wasn't too bad. It wasn't too bad. I think the Woodwoods are pretty funny in a way when you first meet them. And there's another character that's funny. He looks like a Woodwood or something. I think his name was Ross. I think his name was Ross or something. Yeah, I think he's pretty funny. There's just certain moments. There's a couple moments that had me, a little chuckle. I wasn't busting up laughing, but I had a little chuckle, like the chicken chasing the meat. I was like, oh, they did reuse a couple components with Zoshia and the Guardians, where the Guardians absorb energy from the Earth or the planet or the what is it called? The torch thingy, the eternal torch. I forgot what it's called, but it's like a power source, and it's able to like manipulate lightning storms or gravity or fire and stuff like that. And that's like a big part of like why the ecosystem is the way that it is. The ancient Wyverians, if I remember correctly, they created all the Guardians with the power source. They gave it eternal life and stuff like that. And the big main part of the story is between Nanta and Arkveld. Nanta trying to figure out what Arkveld is, what he's trying to do, and why is he doing these things. And it turns out Arkveld was a guardian. He doesn't need to eat, he doesn't need to sleep, he doesn't need to poop, he doesn't need to do any of that. But he's doing that. He's killing and draining the energy from these things, and we're trying to figure out why is he doing that. Why is he it just doesn't seem right. If you're immortal and you don't need to eat, why would you eat it? It doesn't make any sense. I'll give this story a 6. It's okay. It's okay. It could use some more work, and with probably the expansion or more updates. I'm gonna be honest, the story probably isn't even finished. It might be like a Rise situation where the more they update the game, we might get more quests, and it might lead to something more. You know what I mean? It might lead to something more. It's definitely gonna lead to something more eventually. But I'm saying in high rank, not the expansion, but in high rank, it'll probably lead to something more. I'm gonna be absolutely honest with you guys. The combat absolutely carries this game. Capcom and the Monster Hunter team never ceases to amaze me with the improvements that they do to the weapons. Except for Insect Glaive. I don't know what that's about. All these weapons just feel insanely better to play. Like Greatsword is like 2 or 3 times easier now, because they actually want you to block with the Greatsword and do offsets, and it barely drains any sharpness. I feel Switch Axe has 2 parries. Like, I would have never thought Switch Axe would ever get a parry, and it feels amazing. Charge Blade, I kind of don't really like the Charge Blade changes that much, only because you can't just go straight into Super Elemental Discharge by default. You have to block into it to do it straight into it. But overall, I still do like the Charge Blade changes. It's just that little itch in me. I don't know. It's just a one more step that I gotta do to do my favorite move. It's just Gun Lance feels like a completely overhauled weapon. I don't know. It just feels seamless. Literally feels seamless. Like Charge Blade or Greatsword, just feels like everything just flows 1-to-1 with each other. The only thing that I wish that was kept in from World was the Slinger Burst shot. And what that was every time you did like a couple attacks or certain attacks, you would be able to shoot Slinger out of your Slinger pouch and be able to like rotate your camera like that and do a little extra damage too and continue a combo. I think why did this get removed? Personally, I don't know. I'm not Capcom. Hopefully they can add that back in, because I can see it being doable by just pressing down the left stick, just pressing that down after the combo, because you can literally flash by aiming down and pressing left stick. I don't see why just pressing it after the combo just resumes the thing. But if I can have anything back, I want that personally. But that's just me. But yeah, the combat absolutely carries this game, and with with more updates being in the future, I will say this. I'm not gonna go too much deep into this because I'm pretty sure everybody knows that the monster roster is pretty low. Monster roster is pretty low. And I'm going to talk about this later, about difficulty later. But roster's pretty low. There's a lot of low tier monsters, not a lot of high tier monsters. I guess you can call the Apex high tier monsters, but I feel like the only ones that we're fighting are Arkveld and GM. I'm not gonna say the name if you haven't got up there yet. And yes, you can fight the other Apexes, but I feel like the rewards that you get for them are like buns. I don't know. they're they're literally like buns. You get like 1 point. You get like 4 points of like arty weapons and like maybe like 3 jewels versus Arkveld. You get it's damn near doubled with Arkveld. So I don't know. I don't know what the formula is to find some good like raid out hunts for good, arty weapons or whatever. But it just seems like that. But yeah, the combat carries. We can't talk about the combat unless we talk about the skills. I think there's a lot of skills that just aren't working. For example, offensive guard isn't working with like it used to. It works for like physical weapons, so it is doing something properly. But it used to increase element attack for charge blade. Maybe Capcom watch this video if this blows up or whatever. But what it used to do was it would boost the overall damage, so it would boost element and physical. I'm pretty sure, and then it would just add it to it, the percentage to the total. So if you were at max element, you were doing 900 element on the monster, and you hit a offensive guard with a charge blade, and then you hit him again with the element, that 900 might be like 1200 or 1100 or something. But now it's not like that. It doesn't work like that. I don't know if that's intended. I wish Capcom would make a statement on these things if it's not working properly, or maybe it's bugged or whatever. But it is working for physical, but it's not working for element. Offensive guard is supposed to be like a lance, charge blade, gun lance type skill, maybe even great sword now type skill. But it seems like charge blade got the lower end of the stick because of how charge blade is an element weapon, and if you're not using discharge for element, I don't know what you're doing, bro, to be honest. Now difficulty is a subjective and can change depending on the player and the roles that person may follow. Maybe he's like a support player, so he's hunting horn or sword and shield and just tries to be support, etc, etc. But for me personally, I think the difficulty was a bit easy, only because I use the advantages. Now people are saying that the difficulty is extremely easy, and with that being said, I disagree. I think the game is actually pretty tough. I'm gonna be honest, and here's why. When you get up to like the later things, I think things start hitting a lot harder. And if you're not using the advantages, so if you're not using your palico, if you're not using your mount, if you're not if you're not forgetting to sharpen, or if you're forgetting to sharpen and stuff like that, if you're not using the radical menu and stuff, if you're not using these advantages, the game's gonna kick your butt. But for me personally, I smoothed right in. The only thing I struggled on was learning Arkveld. Once you learn them though, it's like a cakewalk kind of. So it's not really like the game being easy or difficult or etc etc. It's more like me learning as a player. So yeah, it's more like that. It's more like me learning as a player and evolving like a Pokemon. All right, so now for my issues. Now one of my issues is that the Ardeon weapons are just shittier versions of the Sappy weapons, and you cannot stitch them. Now this can easily be updated when they release the big title update on next month or whatever. But the fact that why do we have to wait for that? Why? The fact that there's no item to like re-roll a skill like that's super hard, and to re-roll a singular skill of our choosing to anything that we want. Like you might have that perfect weapon that has 4 element, but then it has affinity on the last one instead of sharpness. Why isn't there like an item to re-roll that thing, even if they make it like super hard to do? I think that would make a lot of sense to me. Also, stitching, can't stitch the weapons. You have all these beautiful weapons. I didn't even talk about like the weapons and the gear. The weapons and the gear look amazing. I was actually surprised when I did my playthrough, and I was like, man, these weapons are actually like so beautiful. And then come to find out that you can't even like stitch them. You can't. It's, we gotta use these ugly ass green armored. You can't even change the color. I wish you could change the color of the Ardian weapons at least, like change it from green to red or black or something, but you can't even do that. So yeah, that's an issue that I have. Another issue that I have is that element is just not working. Element values are just bad and don't seem to be high enough for most monsters. I don't know. I do hit for like Gravios. He has like you hit him for like 611 water. Um, that's nice, but another monster that has the same star weakness to element is like hitting for like 170. It's like weird. It's just weird math. I don't get it. They should definitely fix that, make it more consistent, please. And for the final issue that I have, I probably already talked about this already, but I'm going in a little detail. Skills that work in the past for weapons that the skills were good for are not working for them the same way in the past games, like offensive guard. I already went about this, that offensive guard is just not working for guard amped elemental discharge playstyle, where you would guard and go straight into amped elemental discharge. That doesn't seem to boost your element. Maybe someone could prove me in the comment section, but from my testing, it doesn't seem like it does, or maybe it's just sometimes it does and sometimes it doesn't. It doesn't seem like it does for me. So I don't know, just skills just not working. I heard flare is not working, or foray. I heard a lot of other skills aren't working, like burst is like mediocre at 5 but really good at 2. Like, I'm just hearing a bunch of stuff like that. So if they can just polish that out, that'd be great. In conclusion, I think the game's a 10 out of 10, and I wouldn't change much about it other than just patching it out and just polishing it up. It's already a pretty polished game. It's just some of the skills and issues like Safi Jiva, and the end game is a little bit lackluster, but compared to World, is definitely better bones than World. Is just lacking in the variety right now. In conclusion, I give this game a 10 out of 10. I don't know. Wait, do you guys hear that? Do you hear that? Psych! I'm giving it an 8. 8 out of 10. No Gammoth in the game. You gotta be kidding me, bro. You gotta be kidding me. No Gammoth. Deduct 2 points off the score right now. Deduct the mother truckers. Get them out of here. 8 out of 10. Trash game. Garbage. I'm just playing. It's decent. It's a good game. Okay, it's a good game. If you like what you see, like and subscribe. Be sure to share and all that stuff. Peace out.